But before we get into the continued or protracted perspective broadcasting on the independence, let's first take note of nourishing futures, school feeding programs in Uganda's refugee settlements. And we're going to be talking about access to nutritious meals, which is very crucial for growth, health, and education of children. Yet, many refugees in Uganda face a daily food challenge, that is food insecurity. To address this concern, the Strømme Foundation has initiated school feeding programs in refugee settlements such as Bidi, Palorinya and Palabek. And this morning we are speaking to Ms. Dina Morgan, the country director of the Strømme Foundation, to explore on how this initiative is transforming the lives of the children in these communities. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Ms. Morgan.
Thank you for having me.
Great. What inspired the Strømme Foundation to start a school feeding program for refugees in Uganda? And maybe as you speak about that, talk to us about the Strømme Foundation itself. I love the pronunciation in Norwegian.
So good morning, our viewers. My name is Dina Morgan. I'm the country director for Strømme Foundation. Strømme Foundation is an international development organization that is headquartered in Norway. And our vision is to see a world that is free from poverty. We have two main pillars. One of them is provision of inclusive and quality education, and the other one is improvement of livelihoods and income and job creation. Now, speaking to the school feeding program, as we would all know at the beginning of this year, when Trump took over office in the USA, the foreign policy changed. And funds freeze happened all over USAID. And most of the funds that were coming into the refugee settlement were actually coming from USAID through the World Food Program and other UN agencies. And so what happened is that there was a fund freeze and therefore a reduction in food ratios that the refugees are receiving. This impacted us in ways that we didn't imagine, because what happened is that when food went down, children started to reduce attendance in school, enrollment went down, malnutrition went up. We got instances where children were even collapsing in class or even collapsing while going back home. And this was interrupting or disrupting our intended outcomes of education. Because for us, education is very pertinent to the fight in poverty. And so we reached out to our generous donors, the Norwegian people, the Norwegian government, and they came through, provided funds. And these funds have enabled us to reach out to 10 early childhood development centers in those 3 refugee settlements in Bidi, in Palorinya and Palabek. And now we are providing over 4,000 meals, what I heard last, every day, hot meals to these young children who are aged between 3 and 7 years of age.
Okay. What is unique or different about Bidi, Palorinya and Palabek, given the litany of refugee settlements that we have in the country?
This is where we work. We already have programs in these districts. In Bidi, we're working in Yumbe district, we're working in Obonge district, and in Lamuo. So it's where we work, so that's why we had to respond. Nothing really so unique about it, but probably what you would understand, or what, you know, it has the biggest number of South Sudanese refugees who are coming in. The conflict is ongoing. We're receiving refugees on a daily basis. And so the need in those settlements is really, really dire.
You talked about the fact that the ascent to office of Donald Trump in the United States completely altered the funding models for the organization, and indeed many other organizations. I do not know how the scorecard looks now when it comes to impact and the overall well-being of these children. Can we say, for example, when the funds were available, this was what happened? And now that we don't have the funding coming through as it used to, this is what are there any shortfalls? Yeah,
the funding cuts really immensely affected the refugee communities in all ways, because they were receiving food ratios, they were receiving other social services and other things to help them do life in a foreign country where they have no land, they have no businesses, they have no livelihood. So this fund freeze really froze their lives. It froze their livelihoods to the core. And so it affected them in many ways. And you would understand that in the refugee settlements, majority are children and women. These are the ones who are most affected. Most times the men stay back or find a way around, but the children and the women really get affected. And the effect is still on. It hasn't changed. Development partners are coming in. but also most of the development partners that are working in the refugee settlement were also being funded in a way by USAID. Okay. So the pressure is on, and we're just trying to cope day by day. Yeah.
All right. Talk about what I can describe as decentralization of working models to allow for partnerships with local stakeholders and communities in ensuring program success.
We are working with local partners as Strømme Foundation. We are not a direct implementer. We believe in localization, where we empower the local partners to be able to do the job because we know they're here for the long haul.
That's right.
We're working with TPO in Lamuo, Palabek. We're working with Kulika in Yumbe, Bidibidi. We're working with PAMCOPs. These are national, locally led NGOs that have a footprint on the ground. And so they are doing the monitoring, the implementation, they are doing the tracking. And so we found it very helpful, and they've really helped us cover ground. But the communities have also come in a very strong way. In this feeding program, for example, the communities have mobilized. They are bringing firewood.
That's right.
They are constructing the kitchen shelters, you know. Some of them are even bringing some maize that they have to contribute to the school feeding program.
From their small gardens?
Yes, from their very, very tiny gardens. And so we have a lot of goodwill. Even government, we're working very closely with the government, I must say. The government has really helped us in terms of the technical abilities. They have trained and sensitized in the school feeding policy. Yeah. They have also trained the cooks in nutrition, food handling. They're also monitoring the quality of food that we are providing and the impact of it. So there's a lot of partnership that is happening in this school feeding initiative.
Okay. Yeah. Now, in light of the challenges, as we enter the final bit of this interview, the challenges that come with helping refugee communities away from the tensions with host communities, building resilience beyond the food assistance, allowing these sets of people to look beyond that so that they can actually become self-resilient themselves. We have sustainability in mind. What we're doing is that we are promoting school feeding, school gardens, where we are training even the school management committees, helping them have gardens for the school, because the feeding needs to continue. A child cannot learn on an empty stomach. That's right. Research has shown that 90% of the brain of a child develops between 0 and 5 years old. So at that stage of education, it's important that the child is able to feed. So we are promoting school feeding. We are also doing demonstration gardens, training the parents in climate smart agriculture so they can go home and also grow food back home. We are engaging the caregivers. We have what we call Mama and Baba clubs. The parents of these children, Mama and Baba clubs. Hey. We're mobilizing them into groups, sensitizing them, training them, giving them technology, giving them skill so that they can continue this initiative even in their households and on their own. Okay. Yeah. Let's go back to the daughter issue a little bit here, because I need to understand what the way forward is in light of the challenges that come as a result of the change in tone from Washington. Policymakers here in the country are rethinking the models to roll out and to be able to sustain the funding, mechanisms. Sometimes the tone from the office of the Prime Minister and government is one of resignation. That is something that is either recalibrating the talk in the boardrooms within the organizations like Strømme Foundation and others in how you roll out these services. It's a broader conversation. I don't know what is being said where, but we need to understand so that the refugee crisis that often rolls out, repeatedly, is dealt with.
To be honest with you, I think things will never be the same again, to be honest with you. I think this is a change that, yes, we didn't see it coming, but we have to find coping mechanisms, because now globally there are very many other global priorities that sort of make more noise. They make more noise, they're louder than the refugee situation. And so it takes us back to the table as policymakers and government to think again, how are we going to navigate this situation? Uganda has an open border policy where refugees come in, which is a beautiful thing. But how ready are we with the social services to receive these refugees in terms of the schools, the hospitals, and every other thing that goes around? So I think we have to go back and think, we had an open border policy where we had partners coming in with goodwill, UNHCR. That has changed a bit. So it requires more critical thinking and adjustment to be able to manage a situation and not allow it to burst, because it will affect the host community. It rolls out. It's not contained in one port. The effects are rolling out to the rest of the population. So I think we have to work together, private sector, the government, civil society, to co-create a solution to manage the situation.
All right, no doubt that's commendable effort that you are undertaking under the Strømme Foundation. Many thanks for coming over and sharing updates on exactly how you are ensuring nourishing futures. I love that particular phrase, school feeding programs in Uganda's refugee settlements. Miss Dina Morgan, the country director of the Strømme Foundation, many thanks. That will do it for this interview, but do stay with us. We shall be talking how the construction industry is evolving as people's tastes continue to change in how you live, where you want to live, and what kind of materials you want to use. That will be coming up. Stay with us here on Morning at